Hi, my name is Evgeny Kot. It means cat in Russian, or kotsur, I believe. I'm not so good in Czech, unfortunately. And let me talk a bit about myself. So I was a backend developer for a couple of years, or maybe 3 years. Then I realized that, backend is boring. And I decided to be a front-end developer. And I was a front-end developer for many years. These days, I'm more into management. It's another sad story, but yeah. I'm Web, Dart, and Flutter Google developer expert, so everything I would say today about Dart and Flutter is under heavy bias. And I'm a director of development of new, shiny Wrike Prague office. I support that this is now hiring event, so I will not say any word about our cool office, open positions, call me. And I would like to talk about technical decisions. And 15 years ago, I made my first technical decision. And it ended like this. It was a complete mess. It was a hell. So end of my second year in the university, and I thought that I was super smart because I just learned C++. And I got my first job in a small company that made software for microchips for heavy machinery, factories, other things. And this software was written in C. And there were a lot of structures like this, like sensors, thousands of sensors, with the fields like x-coordinate, like voltage level. Now, I thought that I was super smart. So I decided to rewrite it completely to C++, because why not? And it was something like that. So I made basic class, sensor data, and all other sensors were inherited from it. And you know the result. It was like complete mess. So what do you think? What was the problem? And I ask one question. So what is the size of this structure in memory? If integer is 4 bytes, short is 2 bytes, and char is 1 byte. Who think that it was like 7 bytes? No one. OK, 9 bytes? Maybe 8 bytes? OK. The answer, of course, is 8 bytes. But why? Because of the memory packaging. So every compiler, C and C++ compilers, they have to package all your structures and align them to machine words. So yeah, integer is 4 bytes, short is 2 bytes, char is 1 byte, and we have to add one additional byte at the end. And what about C++? So knowing that, what do you think? What would be the size of this structure in memory? 7 bytes? No? No one? Like 8 bytes? 12? Yes, and the right answer is, so because of the inheritance, so the properties would be aligned according to inheritance. So char would be the first, so plus 3 additional bytes. Integer, short, and plus 2 bytes. So as a result, it would be like 12 bytes. And 12 bytes, it's 1.5 times bigger. And the memory, it will produce memory overflow. And after 15 years, I realized that, that tech actually is hard. Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. But tech is actually hard. And behind every technical decision, you should be a super strong foundation. You have to think twice about every technical decision. And why? Because of the butterfly effect. Butterfly effect is a term from chaos theory, which means that every small single decision, every single thing that you made will affect the whole system, and it can be super unpredictable. And I will illustrate this thing with my company, a company called Wrike. Wrike is a project management solution, which helps people to be more productive. And 5 years ago, this software would look like this. It's screenshots from 2011, but something like this. Task management, dashboards, workspace, table view, many things. And 5 years ago, we faced the biggest problem, like huge problem. Just imagine, you have a big working product, 8 years of history. It was written in JavaScript, XJS, SOI, and many other legacy stuff. And there was a lot of JavaScript, like 1.5 million lines of code. It was a huge product. and 9 front-end developers. It is not a problem by itself, but our CIO came to us and said, guys, I have great news for you, like super news. We have a round of investments, we have super cool investor, we have money, which is good, and we have to scale our product, and it should look like this. Like new shiny 3.0 version, many features, it should be super cool and nice. And we have to scale our team by 2-3 times, because these days we have almost 90 front-end developers. It's almost 10 times bigger. And you know what was the problem? JavaScript. Well, I love JavaScript. JavaScript is super cool. It's a scripting language. It's really simple and other stuff. But you know, writing JavaScript is like peeling the potato. You can do that once for your family, like for family dinner. But if you have to peel the potato, thousands of potatoes every day, like an army, it's another thing. And yeah, JavaScript is good, but for big project, for big company, it's not so cool. Because I remember one story. We had one ticket in our system that our customers see deleted users. And I started dig down, and I realized the problem wasn't this function. It just takes JSON, parse it, and compare ID to 0. And if it's 0, it's deleted user. For some reason, one of the backend developers decided, hey, why are we sending integer? Let's send a string with the prefix deleted. Why not? Of course, problem was in backend developer, yeah. But for big company, for growing product, I would like that my system, my framework, my language will notify me about these kind of things like earlier, maybe on compile time or, I don't know, at least at runtime with some runtime checks. And we needed something really strong, something really robust. So we decided to switch to Dart. You can say, hey, Dart in 2009, it's like ridiculous, come on. Dart already is dead. But I will prove you that it's not. So, but I believe that behind every technical decision should be something like Maslow Pyramid. You probably know about that. It's like physiological needs on the bottom, like esteem needs something in the middle, and self-actualization is the best thing. But I believe self-actualization is not the best thing in life. You know what is the best thing in life? It's like to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and of course, green pull request. Yeah, but back to the Maslow pyramid of technical decision. So for us, we drew this pyramid, and it contained these 4 steps, or 4 floors: technology, scalability, support, and recruitment. And let's go through all of them. So what is Dart from technological point of view? About the Dart history, you know, like in 2013, all media was about like behind Google's JavaScript killer Dart, JavaScript killer, JavaScript killer, JavaScript killer, yeah. And if we look at the popularity of Dart, it was unpopular, then popular, then something like that. But if we compare it to Typescript, it's not so good. But if we compare them both to JavaScript, Dart is almost like flat line, as well as the TypeScript. So yeah, if we compare it from hype perspective, Dart will receive maybe 1 hipster hat from 10. Yeah, JavaScript is like 3, and TypeScript is 5. And frankly speaking, yeah, TypeScript is also hype-stish these days. But for us, hype was not the biggest advantage or disadvantage of language. And Dart have a lot of cool stuff in it, like native VM tree shaking, operator overloading, many things. I will not talk about all of them, of course, but 3 things were the super cool for us. And the first of all is, of course, type system. Dart type system is strong, sound, and persist at runtime. I believe many speakers before me talked about that, what is strong, what is sound, but let's imagine we have this class animal, and 2 classes like cat and dog, and all of them extends animal, because cats are animals. We have our main function, which is really convenient. So every Dart program should have main function, as, I don't know, in C, C#, Java, many cool languages. And if we create list of cats and try to assign a dog to cats, of course, we will receive some errors. So strong and sound means that if you create some variable at the compile time of type integer, and in this case, list of cats, you can be sure that at runtime, it would be the same type. Or if we imagine another example, if we create list of animals and assign a cat, and it's OK because cats are animals, but if we try to create list of dogs and assign animals, we will receive runtime error because at the compile time, the compiler will have no idea about what actually in this array. And it's not like super good because it would be nice to have this error on compile time, but still. For instance, TypeScript, TypeScript, it's actually erase all the type information on the runtime. Dart do like opposite thing. There are many runtime checks, and for big companies, it's super cool because I want to have this predictability that if someone, it's like in a butterfly effect, if some user, some developer change one part of the system in one part of the world, in our cool shiny Wrike Prague office, and other guys in other part of the world, they will receive some errors. There would be no like hidden bugs in it. And at the end, it's always the question about nominal type system versus structural type system. Because there are many languages that support structural type system and not nominal. And what is it all about? Once Plato said that man is a featherless biped. Diogenes plucked a chicken and brings it to the room and said, like, is this a Plato's man? So it's always the same. So if, for instance, we have class man with two properties, has feathers and legs, and we have class chicken with same properties, we can create a variable of type man, and we can assign chicken to it because why not? They have same properties, and from structural type system, it's okay. And that's okay for many developers, but I would like to be sure that if I think about one object of type man, that some other developer, all developers, they treat this object as a man, not as a chicken. And you cannot pass man to function and like work with that like it's chicken, because it's totally different mindset. Of course, it will work, but for us, the more strongest is better. Second thing is ecosystem, and yeah, I know what can you say, like, come on, JavaScript ecosystem is superior. You can create a product without actually writing a code, just npm install and that's it. Yeah, npm install driven development. But what's the problem with the third-party libraries, ecosystem, and other things? It's super hard to maintain this ecosystem because every third-party library, JavaScript ecosystem or TypeScript ecosystem, you cannot be sure about security. You cannot be sure is that when you update this library, other library in your system will not break. And to maintain this like variety of libraries, it's like hell. I don't know, if you have 20 libraries in your product, it's already a big number. It's really complicated. So what about Dart ecosystem? I would say that the Dart ecosystem is like better included. Boom. Yeah. So do you like collections? Who likes collections? Yeah, they fun, but it's not so okay. In Dart, we have collections already in the language, in the Dart standard library. We can use where, first where, anything we want. Or, I don't know, streams. Who likes streams? Yeah, streams, kind of cool. So we already have streams already in the language. And it's really convenient. I can be sure that if I receive some updates from Dart standard library, nothing will break they all compatible with each other because it's just one standard library, which kind of cool. Yeah, and third thing is simplicity. When your product, when your team is expanding, and you know for sure that there would be newcomers in 1 month, in 1 year, you want that your language would be super simple as possible. And as we saw, Dart is kind of simple because it's C-like syntax. It's not like ReasonML or something like that. And about type system, well, just to scroll down documentation about type system of TypeScript, I have to spend 5 minutes. And there are a lot of things like union types, type guards, nullable types, a lot of it. And I believe that, yeah, it's kind of cool to have this one. But to actually use it, you have to be really smart. Yeah, I'm not, but... So Dart is a super simple language that you can use right now. And the second thing is about scalability. So what if your product or your language or your libraries will expand by 5 times? What if your team will expand by 10 times, as we have? What would be with your language or your framework? It's a big question. And Dart have tree shaking. You know, many modern builders, packagers, Webpack, and others, they have dead code elimination. So what's the difference between tree shaking and dead code elimination? It's like making a soup. So you want to make a soup, but you don't like onions. So with dead code elimination, you're making a soup, and then you spoon all the onions from it. And for tree shaking, you just make a soup without the onions from the beginning, and that's it. And Dart tree shaking is really aggressive. So just imagine we have class test that prints something, and we have our function, main function. We just create instance of this test and print something. What do you think? What would be in resulting JavaScript? Yeah, just console log hello world. Dart can remove classes, functions, variables, like anything. And for us, right now we have bundle. If we count it, it's almost 20 megabytes of code zipped on the client. And without tree shaking, I believe it would be much bigger. So aggressive tree shaking helps us to deliver code to our client without unnecessary garbage in it. And the second thing about scalability is deferred loading. So of course, it's not wise move to load this amount of code in one chunk. So Dart supports deferred loading from the beginning. So you can just import some library, some package, and add this deferred. And that's it. Then you can just load this library, and yeah, it would be asynchronous loading. It's nice to have this right inside your language, because you don't need to import anything or other things. And the third step is support. And frankly speaking, that's the biggest problem of Dart. But I would like to distinguish support from Google to 3 parts. So Dart language itself, it's really good because of the Flutter. Who knows what is Flutter? Yeah, it's a cross-platform framework from Google for mobile devices and for web, because you can compile Flutter code to web and to desktop. It's really convenient. And this Flutter is like a train that pushes Dart to the fame. I don't know. So Dart support is kind of good. I believe in next, I don't know, half a year we will have some big announcement there. Yeah, it's under NDA, so. And what about third-party libraries in Dart ecosystem? It depends, because there are many cool libraries such as Redux or something for immutable states, and they support really well. like super good. But there are still some libraries which is not really supported good from community. Yeah, so it depends. I believe the same for JavaScript, because there are some really popular hype libraries, but there are still many abandoned things. And the last thing that I don't like about Dart, it's support of Angular Dart, because it's kind of shitty, frankly speaking. Yeah, it's a good framework. It's same as the Angular, but from the support perspective, there are not so many commitment, maybe not so many cool features. But I think that they will work on that, because it's really obvious that these days you have to have good support for web frameworks, and yeah. We're finger crossed, but still, it's kind of not so good. And the last thing that we as tech developers, we think at last, it's recruitment. Yeah, because we never think about, wow, we decided to choose Haskell, how we hire Haskell developers. Yeah, of course, the question, okay, so how many Dart developers here in this room? Yeah, all these guys are from Wrike, so that's not really fair. But who can understand this code? Like this class cat, constructor, some properties, and some method. Who can understand this code? So you are Dart developers from this moment. Because from our experience, of course, we cannot hire Dart developers from the market. It's impossible, yeah? But we hire, I believe, 1/3 of our front-end developers, they are from C#, from Java, from C++ world, because Dart is so simple. It's C-like syntax, which gives you a good abstraction layer from browser or front-end. And that means you can hire people from other areas. And these days, I believe backend is not so popular, because front-end, as a front-ender, you can get more money. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I switched to front-end. Yeah, for me, that's true. And yeah, so that's cool that you can hire people not from your ecosystem, and they can work on this code in, I don't know, in 1 week, maybe less, because it's same syntax as in most of the languages in the world. And actually, frankly speaking, I don't want to sell you Dart, but I already did for 23 minutes. But I believe behind every technical decision, you should ask you 3 questions: where, why, and what. Where we are right now, what is our environment, how many developers do we have, or legacy or other things, why we're here, so what is our history, and what is history behind our product. I mean, and the last thing you should ask yourself is what we want to achieve. I understand that Dart is not suitable for everyone, of course, it's not true, but you should think twice when you choose the right framework. And I believe at the end, it's something like restaurant paradox. So it doesn't matter which restaurant will you choose. It's like some heavy, fatty pizza shop. It's super heavy, it's super greasy, but you still love it. Some hipster burger place. And some weird thing that you never been, but a friend of yours told you that it's good. It doesn't matter which restaurant will you choose. At the beginning, your significant other, your product manager would be unhappy. But at the end, everything would be good. So thank you very much.